Hi and welcome again to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we try to look at a couple of upcoming races, identify a particular ingredient of the race that we might look back on later as having been decisive. Well, Sunday at Sha Tin, and the first race we're going to take a look at here is race 6, our winning factor, the start. Now I think there'll be cases made here for a number of runners. Win 33 will have his fans. Likewise, circuit number 1 from the reinvigorated Tony Cruz yard, and Momentum Happy after his first time out win for Jimmy Ting last start. But the real focus in the betting here I think will be on Zach Purton's ride Party Genius and So We Joy from the John Moore yard. And they're the two runners that I want to have the closest look at. And first of all, we're going to see what they've been up to. And firstly, Party Genius. This is race 629. And this is in fact the race that Momentum Lucky won. And Party Genius runs 4th here. You'll see him beginning out wide in the red and white colours. And Zach Purton gets him across and into a trailing position. The speed fairly even in this race, and the leader was able to get a break on them and then stave off any finishes. But I thought Party Genius raced very well here. He's a 3-year-old with some upside, and he cuts back the margin here but has to settle for 4th placing. Then in race 680, which was just 7 days ago, the 4-year-old, So We Joy. He's in the pink colours. He's only lightly raced and made a good impression. And he's a touch slow away here, but you see that issue is then compounded by him getting a check, and he ends up a fair way back early. He chases up to be midfield with a little bit of cover wide, and then we see him sprint home. The leaders really didn't put a lot of pressure on here. They dashed from the 800 metres, and he was able to make up some ground behind Armour Star, but not a lot of ground the way the race was run. Now, with the 7-day backup, So We Joy falls under the heading of quick backup horses from the John Moore yard, an angle which I highlighted as being a positive a few weeks ago. But I think there's a more important factor at work here, and what we're going to show you now is the last 3 starts for each of these horses and how they jumped. Now, at the top of the screen, you see Party Genius in those red and white colours, and you see every time he races, he's had wide draws all the way through, and he's one of the first horses out of the gates every time and then has to surrender ground as horses push up under him. Whereas So We Joy, he did jump okay on the dirt in the middle run here, but the other two, he's been a little bit scrappy at the start, and that has given him a bit more to do than probably would be ideal. And while the check that he got last week certainly wasn't his fault, you do find that with horses that are a touch slowly away that they can get a bump when that happens, and that puts them further on the back foot. And when we look at the map, that start is going to be a crucial aspect to the race. Now we take a look at the map here. I think that from a better draw, Party Genius in gate 6, his fast jump can be used to advantage, and So We Joy, he's drawn outside him anyway, and with those iffy starts that he has, looks more than likely to be conceding a start to his rival. So the tip in race 6, Party Genius, his winning factor, the start. I don't think there's a great deal between them in terms of ability, these two horses, but the fact that Party Genius is able to bounce out of the gates and use his better draw this time, I think is going to be the key to making him the preferred pick in the race. The other race I want to examine this week is race 7, and our winning factor here, the map. Now this is a class 4 middle distance, 2,000 metres, and the in-form Gala Knight is notionally the top weight here, but he gets a claim for the new apprentice, Jerry Chow. And down in the handicaps, I think there are good chances for good days. He looks near a win. Victoria's Seeker coming off an impressive class 5 win, and McMonagle also has some good consistent recent form. But first I want to take a little detour here because we do have a new 10-pound claimer, Jerry Chow, and I thought we might take a look at the difference between the perception of the claiming riders and perhaps how they actually perform in races. Now I have to confess up front, before I did any research for this, I was pretty much anti-apprentice claims. I think as a punter, you tend to get half the ride and half the odds when a good senior jockey is replaced by a junior claimer. But I thought it would be fairer to dive into the stats, at least a little bit. And you see here, these are the results for apprentice claims since September of 2014. And the claims that I've used here are less than £3 because that's when they're still apprentices, and contrasted that with all the other rides during the same period, so anyone who was not claiming three or more than £3. Now, in terms of expected wins, the apprentices do a better job than I thought. Perhaps that's because they often surprise on long-priced winners early in their careers, but strike rates, on the other hand, only show an edge with the £10 claim, but not as the claim reduces. And the £10 claim on Gala Night is going to be a talking point of this race, no doubt. If we have a look at how he's been going, this is race 612 now. He's a 3-year-old, he's still got some upside to him, but as a result of his recent form, he's won 3 of his last 5 starts Gala Night, but remains in Class 4. And if you take that claim into account, the middle of Class 4. Now, this was a tough victory at Happy Valley over 2,200 metres. Bullish Glory looked to have him in the final stages, and he fought back under £130 to win. While another serious rival on Sunday, Good Days, you'll see he comes charging late into 4th placing. Now, just half an hour later, I thought Gala Night's Main Danger ran on the same night, and Victoria's Seeker here, he's in purple, pinky kind of colours. And Joe Moreira gives him a great ride here, gets back in the field behind a decent speed and swoops on them to put up an impressive win that he had actually been promising for some time in Class 5, also under £133, so he gets a big weight drop on Sunday. But when we look at Sunday's race and the draw from the tricky 2,000 metre point, where there's only a short run to the first turn, I do think that the map here is going to highlight the prospects of horses like Good Days and Gala Night who have drawn in over those of horses like Victoria's Seeker and McMonagle who have the wide barriers. Now, for me, the question of whether Jerry Chow's weight allowance counts here is tied into the decisions he needs to make in the race. And you can see he may lead or let Giant Turtle lead him here, but he looks to have a pretty uncomplicated race ahead of him. So the tip in race 7, Gala Night. His winning factor, the map. Now, I know plenty of people analysing the form here will see the £10 claim as a crucial element of Gala Night's chances, but for me the important thing is whether it's a difficult navigation for the junior rider or it's pretty straightforward. And I think you saw on the map there, it's pretty straightforward, and that gives him the edge. Well, that's it from the winning factor for this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.